Hi, this is Mike, and today I'm going to be showing you a procedure that I use to change the fuel tank out in a 1997 Chevy C1500. This works for other models as well. With this particular vehicle, there's a lot of ways to go about this. You can drop the tank, which is the preferred method, but unfortunately, in my case, I have a muddy driveway, and this has been sitting here since around January. First warm day to finally get this done, so I'm going to take it. So I am going to tilt bed method. So what I did was I removed all the bolts for the bed. Well, not all of them, but on one side, removed all of them. There are 4 on each side. There's one going through this mounting post right here, so that goes there into the bottom of the bed there. There's one here that's behind the fuel tank. You have to actually access it from below with a chromey socket on an extension all the way through. It's 18mm bolt. They're all 18mm bolts. So there's that one. I had one here on this part of the frame rail, as well as one back there where the bumper, everything meets up as well. So, and the same thing on the other side as well. You can see the bed is lifted up right now by the jack stands, a piece of log. But I didn't remove the other side bolts, so that's kind of holding that side of the bed on right now while I do this. So there's the pump right there. Right now I'm working on getting the hoses off. I'm gonna go ahead and get the vent hose off here. Here's the vent, or here's the fuel-filled vent, and here's the tank. I think this goes to the charcoal canister vent. Then you have your high and low pressure lines here. You have electrical plug for the pump, as well as the ground strap there. So I'm going to go ahead and get those hoses removed. I already pulled back the hose clamps for this and this here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those off and crack these loose. It's a 5/8 flare wrench I'm going to be using for this, as well as a 19mm normal open end wrench for the hose side. The top here has been soaking in some PB blaster for a little bit, so hopefully they crack loose with no huge problems. So I don't have a tripod or anything like that, so I'm gonna have to cut the video and come back when I get everything all loosened up. So I'll be back in just a little bit. One of the first things you also want to make sure you get done is remove your filler neck here. It's a T30 Torx here, here, and down here there was a plastic retaining clip, one of those push-in ones where the middle pops out and then the outside of the clip expands, so use a flathead to pull that off. But make sure you pull that out first. If you don't and you start jacking this bed up, you will either destroy the filler neck, the plastic cup deal. Mine's down there right now. But yeah, you might destroy that filler cup, plastic cup deal, or you may dent your bed. So make sure you, pull that out. Also, make sure you do have something holding the bed up, because I have 2 3-ton jack stands. I have a sizable piece of log over there, as well as I still have my jack, a bunch of 2x4s holding up on all the frame rails, or nice thick pieces of metal that's top of that support member there and going across. So just be safe. This is heavy. My bed has a toolbox. It's full, and it's still there, as well as a ton of junk in the trunk or in the bed. So yeah, be safe when you're working on this. This bed is very heavy. You don't want it to fall on you. Alright, I'll be right back after I pull those hoses off. Alright, I'm back. So, wasn't able to get off the return line, the low pressure, but the high pressure came off just fine, so pretty happy about that. All my other push-on connectors came off okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this with a tubing cutter. And since it is a return and it's low pressure, I'm just gonna go ahead and flare the ends and use some rubber tubing to, or just connect the rubber tubing from the bottom of the connector there back up to the bottom of the return line after it's been flared with a hose clamp. So that should take care of that problem. I also cleaned up top of the tank, and the locking ring has been removed. Go ahead and pound it counterclockwise. Get in there and I'll show you. So there's two locking rings on each side there, and this one is underneath here currently. But anyway, this goes counterclockwise to unlock. Spin it that way. This has been pre-loosened, but yeah, I used a flathead screwdriver or a punch, chisel, whatever have you. Just go ahead and tap, just give it some taps and just spin pretty freely. Make sure you clean up all the crap around here. This has some silicone from a previous owner, but yeah, I cleaned up all the dust with some brake clean and got most of the big stuff off. Before I crack this, I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, give it another wash down and brush off with probably a soft nylon brush. Get all the big stuff out of here so I don't have anything fall into the tank and clog up my fuel strainer in there. So I'll get back to you guys in just a bit once I pull the pump out, and I'll show you where we go from there, because I'm just replacing the actual pump itself, not the fuel sending unit or anything like that. So be back in just a bit. Alright, I'm back. So I pulled my pump out. It's all clean. So there's about maybe a little bit over a half tank of gas in there. So, but yeah, I cleaned up all the junk that's around there. You don't want any dirt to fall into the tank or anything like that. Also, make sure you grab your O-ring. Don't let that fall in there either. It's a little hard to fall in, but if it's you know, really brittle or broken up or rotted out or whatever, it will fall in your tank. So I'm gonna grab some tools. I'll take you over to the pump here on my table. I'll show you what's going on. Alright, I'm back here with my fuel pump sending unit. Already yanked the old fuel pump out. Excuse my crappy table. Here's the old fuel pump. So tested this against the battery and I got nothing. So out she goes. It's going in the trash. So didn't end up buying a new fuel pump. Got one from a junkyard. So I pulled two pumps actually. This one here, that one there, and they both work just fine. Load tested them. Ran it through. Actually used to transfer fuel from a 1.5 gallon gasoline container to another container. Worked just fine. So those are the two pumps I got, just in case one of them does fail. I'm not gonna drop the bed down until I start it up and let it run for a few minutes and a couple of cycles. So here's the sending unit. And make sure that you clean all this junk out of here. This plastic ring that retains the fuel pump at the bottom here from my old pump literally disintegrated and was rattling around in there, thinking that may have attributed to it failing. So here's the sending unit. Ended up cutting this off up here, so I'm gonna go ahead and probably use this piece of pipe here to connect this fuel line to the other end of the rubber hose and cut off the brass fittings that are there. So here is O-ring all cleaned up, ready to go. My locking ring all cleaned up. I'm not going to replace the strainer just in case. Here's some new fuel line to replace, a little piece that joins the pump to the metal line there. These just literally fell apart when I took them off, so I'm just going to use normal stainless hose clamps here to clamp everything back together. And the old pump had a piece of foam around it that kept it kind of snug against this here, but I don't have that, and the pumps that I pulled didn't have that on them either. So I'm just going to go ahead and use a hose clamp, get it around here, and just hold it tight there. So I'll put all this stuff together here, and I'll be back in just a bit to show you my finished product to put into my truck, and hopefully it runs. Alright, I'm back here again. So here is my assembled pump and my new piece of hose I'm going to be using to replace that broken fitting. Got my O-ring put back in on there, and it's all lubed up with some silicone spray. Make sure it doesn't crack up or anything like that. I also I reused these clamps that I found because I don't have a set of hose clamps around the house here that would fit here. So I reused these old clamps I found on the fuel sender, which I pulled from a different truck to actually get the fuel pump. That one, the sender, actual gauge sender was broken on it, but just reuse those clamps there. New piece of hose there. Got a piece of metal in the same exact return line actually hooked up there, and that's going to be clamped down. I flared the end there, also flared the end that's clamped up in there, and this is going to go into the end of that hose that's being held there by that wrench. That's the return. Also cleaned out my plug up there with some brake cleaner. I'm going to throw some dielectric grease before I put it back all together. Go ahead and drop the pump in and wire it up and make sure it works first after I get this connected here, and then throw my lock ring in, and hopefully I have a running truck here in a little bit. So I'll be back here in a little bit with some hopefully some more instructions or do's or don'ts if I find any, or a running truck. Just in a little bit. Morning, folks. So this is a continuation from the last time here you saw me on the video. Put a used pump in my truck because it came with the sending unit I got. I actually only got it because my float arm broke off of the one that was in my truck. And then shortly after, my pump actually ended up and dying, so it kind of worked out for me. But anyway, I put a used pump in the truck, and it didn't work. It wasn't it would work outside or with a small amount of gas, but as soon as it got any pressure on the line, the pump would just choke up. So ended up ordering a new pump. Catch my other video of the unboxing. I got this from Rock Auto the other day. A nice crushed up pump box here. So nice big dent up there. But yeah, check out my video on that. But this pump came with pretty much everything. New stainless steel hardware, new rubber grommet for the bottom, the attachment hose, and a couple of O-rings. I also ordered a new wiring harness for the pump from Amazon. There's the pump itself. So there you go. Sorry about that. Stuff might have been on the train. Here's the O-ring hardware kit, and here's my wiring harness. I'm trying to film and the camera's upside down, so bear with me, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this new one into the strainer. Put the new O-ring as well in there, as well as I got a new strainer as well here. So I'll be using my new strainer. And I have a new fuel filter going on too. So the strainer just drives the bottom. There we go. I just bent that down a little bit. You can bend it back up right about when you're gonna pop it back in. Yeah, this wiring harness needs to go. Clip on it's super brittle. Too bad I couldn't find a piece of wiring harness with the top plug as well, but I guess I'll live. Get rid of this guy as well. And for the C1500s and the K1500s from 98, 88 almost to 98, 99, they're the smaller O-ring that comes with it. The bigger O-ring actually, I think, works for the pickup trucks and not, I mean the Suburbans and the SUVs and not the pickup trucks. So a small one for the pickup trucks, larger one for the SUVs, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to unplug my wiring harness from over here. There's a tang you got to push forward. That just wiggles its way out. And I didn't show this in the last video, but float literally just clips on here, and it goes, the little axle of it goes through, and it moves this wiper arm here. A stack of coiled wire. Looks like aluminum maybe, or maybe copper. But yeah, my float wasn't good on the other one, so literally that's all the one reason I got that semi-unit. So these clips here, you have to insert a screwdriver. I'm gonna use a T-pin actually, because the screwdrivers I have are way too big. But yeah, it has a locking tab in here. So you're gonna go ahead and just insert it behind the wire, and then just give it a nice tug. Out it comes. Same for the other one. So that's the wire there. And that's the T-pin. Inserted in the wire, just holding the lock back. That just pulls right off. And these are pretty much foolproof. Purple is a small one. Black stripe is the big one. They just go right back in where you took them out. If you think you'll forget where they went, do them one at a time. Nice and snug, and then go ahead, and this just plugs right back up on the top. The other plug goes into your pump. Show you guys that in a sec. So that just plugs right back into there. And there. Make sure the O-ring is around everything. So just make sure, you know, the O-ring's at the top there and sitting around everything. I'm going to use a little bit of silicone on my O-ring as well. Here's the new pump. It did come with a little extension piece for the pump, and compared to my old one, it's a little bit longer. We'll see if maybe the pump's a little bit shorter. Yeah, it is a little bit shorter. So, and it also came with stainless steel clamps. Which I'm glad I don't have to reuse those plastic ones. And the grommet for the pump itself. Pull that off. It's a nice touch. Sealed that up. It just sits right on there like that. Has a little bit of grooves in the bottom. Whoops. Yep, grooves in the bottom. And just sit just like that. And then this whole thing just kind of clips into here. It's shaped a bit round in the bottom, so just kind of goes right in there. And then that hook up there That just fits right down there, just like that. I'll go ahead and hook this up here. Pushes right on there like that. Make sure I get this in here nicely, and that just slides right in there. So pup fits nicely. Don't really have any major complaints. Yeah. Get everything tightened up. You don't want to tighten these up too much to where you break the clamp. You just want to go snug enough. And for the other side, this is it uses a flat head, but I'm using a nut driver because it's way easier. The actual stringer here snaps in the bottom, and when I took this out, you're gonna have to watch the orientation. There's the flow back here over the turn line from the engine, so you want to go ahead and put this alongside it, not blocking it, because you don't want it dumping right on the stringer. Might kick some dirt up or chunk up and cause some issues. That just snaps right in there like that. So go over to the truck here and pick up there in a little bit. Alright, I'm back. We're at the fuel tank. So just a little bit of Zep silicone lube. Spray this around the top there. Also give my O-ring a quick squirt. We're nice and happy. Make sure you orient this the correct way as you put it in. So I'm going to try to get you the best shot I can going in. So first you'll drop that float in, and this will go in next. And they just bend. Just go ahead and just push it down in there. Make sure your hoses or your output steel lines are coming out the right way. Make sure your O-ring doesn't fall into the tank, but it's on the lip top there. This only goes in one way. There's a tab here, one on the other side. That just literally sits down in there. This goes into there, right there, like that. And you can actually get this on by hand almost at first. Now I'm gonna have to tap it a little bit. So just small taps. Want to do it evenly on all the sides. almost done. I want to make sure you get this here, needs to touch right over here. So the last bit's a bit of a pain. But looks like we got it. So I make sure my ring's centered on there. But yeah, that's it. Go ahead and hook back up my lines here, and I'll be back in just a sec. Can't get this camera to sit here, otherwise I'd film it. Alright folks, it's all in. Got everything tightened up. Make sure you sand down your ground. I coated that in some dielectric grease spray stuff. So tightened up hose clamps there, over there. There's the cool splice I did on my return because the fitting broke off and don't really want to go and buy a return line up to the rail right now, so that'll have to do for right now. It's got clamps on it, so it should hold just fine. I flared the ends as well, so shouldn't have any issues. So just gotta drop my bed down here a bit, and yeah, we'll take a look. I'll prime the pump here in a second once my neighbor leaves. Get some of the extra noise out of the area. Be back in a bit. Alright guys, neighbor's gone. I'm gonna go ahead and prime the pump a couple times and give her a start. Here goes nothing. Struggled for a little bit, but eventually she started up nice. She hasn't ran since end of January here. Ton of smoke. See how she is when she warmed up. This is how I lifted the bed up though. Make sure you're safe on this. Remember, don't smoke. You're dealing with the fuel tank. Fire extinguisher handy. As well as be safe when you're lifting the bed if you go this route. You know, like I said, I could have gone the tank route, but straps were super duper rusty, and you know, it was over a half tank full, so didn't really want to deal with lifting that down in the mud. Limited space, so. But yeah, I will probably be back here to show you guys the putting back together of the bed. You know, getting the bolts tightened down. I also have to tighten back down my hitch, so I had to loosen that up to. There were actually bolts that were driven up through my hitch into the bed as well as in the frame. So I have a 2.5-inch hitch in the bottom there. So. Now, most people also say to go ahead and unplug these wires. I didn't do that. This looks like everything just went just fine. Just enough space. So, yeah. Alright guys, I'll be back later. Alright guys, I'm back. So as I said, here are the bolts. I'm on the side of the bed here, which was the hinge part of my tilt. So it's the side I didn't remove the bolts all the way. Here's the one that's kind of underneath the spare tire. I have to remove the tire to get to it. It's in the cross members that are holding up the spare tire. Here's the one between the bed, the bumper, and the other ones are over that way, and I'll get to them as I get to them. So, and it's literally flipped on the other side. So there's a one for the cross member over there. There's a hole up there, as well as in here for the bed. But yeah, I'll be back and take you some more pictures and video as I go along. Alright folks, so I'm back with the last part of the video. So for this part, you will need chrome 18mm socket. Really nice long extension. I think this is like a 9-inch extension. Underneath here, there's your first 18mm bolt that holds the bed to the frame on the front side of the bed here. The next one is to be through that hole. You do need to use a chromie to get up in there with the extension. I tried a deep impact socket, it does not fit, as well as the frame rail is not wide enough to get the socket in there while the bolt is sticking out. You can get the socket in there with the bolt kind of, you know, already in there, but then again, once you pull it down, you can't remove the socket because, you know, you have to go through this hole to access everything. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you. The chrome fits in there, no problem, just enough clearance. Impacts do not. I'll go ahead and tighten this one up, and that's the end of my fuel pump replacement video here. These are mirrored on the other side. Like I said, beginning of the video, that other bolt is kind of behind the fuel tank, so you do have to be a little bit careful. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty straightforward from there. If you watch the video and follow the instructions, you should either be able to replace the entire center unit and fuel pump assembly, or like I did, I just went and, you know, replaced the pump and the fuel sender. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. If you do like my video, please like and subscribe to my channel for more repair videos coming up. I do quite a lot of these on a number of different vehicles, so, you know, check out my channel as well. There's quite a few videos in there already. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.